Can you believe it's been over 30 years since we entered into the 1990s? It seems like just yesterday we were rocking out to Nirvana, watching Friends on Thursday nights, and playing Snake on our cell phones. But so much has changed since the days of dial-up internet, AOL Instant Messenger, and waiting all week for the new episode of Boy Meets World. We're gonna see exactly what life was like in the 90s, before modern tech took over. Get ready for some serious nostalgia from the decade that brought us Beanie Babies, Tamagotchis, and the Macarena. Don't touch that dial, the 90s are calling on this tubular time machine back to the days of slap bracelets. In the 1990s, the trend was to wear oversized and brightly colored clothes. Fashion in the 90s featured some loud, vibrant styles. Oversized t-shirts, sweatshirts, windbreakers, and flannel were popular for achieving that baggy look. Bright neon colors like pink, green, yellow, and orange were everywhere. For girls and women, crop tops that showed the midriff were a big trend, along with choker necklaces and button-down baby doll dresses. Guys wore sagging pants and backwards baseball caps. Plaid was huge thanks to grunge bands like Nirvana bringing it mainstream. Doc Marten boots and platform shoes gave people some height. Workout attire like spandex biker shorts suddenly became daily outfits. And patterns galore. Checkers, paisley, polka dots, stripes, covered clothing in eye-catching designs. While not the most flattering for every body type, 90s fashion let people take risks and embrace new forms of rebellious self-expression. The decade brought a diverse array of new clothing into the mainstream as youth culture blossomed. In the 1990s, we collected and traded Pogs, Tamagotchis, and Beanie Babies as hobbies. Certain toys and collectibles defined leisure time in the 90s. Pogs were circular cardboard discs that could be stacked and played by slamming with greater force to flip them over. Tamagotchis were handheld digital pets that kids needed to feed, clean, and nurture. And Beanie Babies were small, plush stuffed animals that became a hugely popular collecting craze, with rare versions fetching insane prices during the decade. Kids and teens in the 90s went crazy over these toys and spending time trading and collecting them. Maybe not the most productive hobby, but they were symbols of the playful, nostalgic culture of the decade. The 1990s were really when the internet started to enter mainstream life, though at a very basic level compared to today. Early on, most people accessed the internet slowly using dial-up connections. The early adopters used email and basic websites for work, but the web was not a hub of entertainment and socializing yet. Late in the decade, sites like Amazon opened up online shopping, eBay allowed person-to-person auctions and commerce, and sites like Yahoo and AOL provided portals for browsing the limited content available. By the end of the 90s, about half of American households had internet access, showing its growing reach. But sophisticated social media, smartphone apps, streaming, and online services were still largely unheard of. So the 90s internet laid the groundwork, but had nowhere near the speed or capabilities that emerged in the 2000s and beyond. The 90s were a great time for music and movies. On the music side, grunge rock bands like Nirvana, Pearl Jam, and Soundgarden exploded out of Seattle and brought alternative rock into the mainstream. Hip-hop acts like Tupac, Biggie Smalls, Wu-Tang Clan, and Dr. Dre took rap music to new heights. Pop stars like Britney Spears, the Spice Girls, and Backstreet Boys churned out hit after hit. It was a fun mix of genres. At the movie theaters, massive blockbusters started dominating with films like Jurassic Park, Titanic, Forrest Gump, The Matrix, and Toy Story. People flocked to see major stars like Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, Will Smith, Jim Carrey, and Tom Cruise larger than life on the big screen. And comedies like Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, Clueless, and Austin Powers had everyone laughing. When it came to TV, there were so many classic shows that defined the decade. Appointment viewing was still a big thing, with water cooler chat about the latest must-see episodes. Friends dominated as the sitcom about six pals navigating life and love in New York City. Seinfeld's wacky stories about nothing were appointment viewing, Ellen made history when the titular character came out as gay. Shows like ER and The X-Files brought cinematic production values to the small screen. Buffy the Vampire Slayer blended action, horror, and teen drama with wit. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air launched Will Smith's career with its fish-out-of-water humor. Saturday Night Live hit its peak, producing comedy superstars like Chris Farley and Adam Sandler. Animated favorites included The Simpsons, South Park, King of the Hill, and Ren and Stimpy pushing boundaries for cartoons. And reality TV arrived with The Real World, paving the way for today's multitude of unscripted programs. 90s television was creatively bold and laid the groundwork for our current age of prestige TV. As the 90s drew to a close, a major event loomed that had people worried: the Y2K bug. This referred to potential crashes or issues arising from older computer systems only being programmed to handle years in a 2-digit format. So when the year flipped to 2000, systems would mistakenly think it was 1900, potentially causing widespread crashes. No one knew just how bad it might be, but fears spread of entire infrastructures failing once the clock struck midnight on New Year's 2000. Many worried that power grids, banks, airlines, and more could be catastrophically affected. Some prepped with generators, stockpiled cash, and even bought up supplies like the apocalypse was coming. Of course, when January 1st, 2000 arrived, virtually nothing happened. The Y2K bug was essentially a dud, just some minor technical issues. But in the years leading up, doomsday prophecies and panic regarding Y2K grew exponentially. It seems silly now, but the looming threat of system failures from the Y2K bug was the perfect embodiment of futuristic tech worries as the 90s came to an end and new millennium approached. Does this bring back nostalgia for any 90s kids out there? So many technologies and daily habits have changed compared to 30 years ago in the 1990s. Let me know in the comments if you remember any other 1990s nostalgia not mentioned here. Smash that like button if you missed the 90s. As always, thank you for watching.